Good morning. My name is Bill Stubbles. I'm one of the solutions engineers here for the GoAnywhere product. And today we're going to look at part 2 for SFTP client troubleshooting in GoAnywhere MFT. So here's the scenario. You are attempting to set up connectivity through an SFTP resource to a new trading partner, and the connectivity is not working. We're going to skip past the network access test. We're going to skip past the routing test. We're going to assume that the connectivity is working, that the credentials are valid. So ideally, in this scenario, one of the first things you want to do is test with another product, such as WinSCP or FileZilla. What you want to get out of this is you want to have an SFTP session log showing a valid connection. We're going to use this as our baseline. This is our confirmation that we can reach the service, that the credentials are valid, and that we can, in fact, communicate with this SFTP server, because SFTP servers tend to be forgiving, but they can have their little quirks. So once we've got this baseline, and likely this is going to be with another product other than GoAnywhere, because GoAnywhere is what we're attempting to troubleshoot. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to come up here, we're going to build the resource. Now in this particular case, the resource that we're building, the connectivity test, works. The reason we're looking at this particular use case is because in order to make this work, we had to tune the host key signature algorithm and the cipher. As I mentioned, most SFTP servers tend to be forgiving, but some can be a little finicky. So here's how we got from point A, the connectivity not working, and I'll show you what that looks like. You can see here we got through the handshake. We were trying to get to the authentication, and it failed, to point B, which is connectivity working, and we get to the authentication request. We're going to show you how we got from point A to point B. So we start with the resource. Then we come over here. Whether the resource works or not, you can always build a workflow to utilize that resource. And the key here is in this SFTP step, we're going to set this log level to debug. The reason we're setting the log level to debug is because it will show us the entire SFTP handshake. Very long story, very short. As far as the SFTP handshake, it's a multi-step process. There's an exchange of protocol versions. There's the key exchange, or KEX, where we're agreeing on the cryptographic primitives that we're going to use for the actual key exchange. Then we've got the elliptic curve, Diffie-Hellman, initialization and reply. Then we've got the actual key exchange, and then lastly, we've got the SSH message service request, in this case, the authentication request. So this is the full handshake string, but we don't need the full string for what we're looking to accomplish today. We can start from a point right about here when we set that key exchange algorithm. And I'm going to show you why that's relevant. We're going to come back to our working connections and our failed connection. So in our successful connection, using whatever that other SFTP client is, we can see here that the server is looking for the particular key exchange algorithm, this curve 2559, and then the host key algorithm, ECDSA SHA-2 NISTP 256. In our initial attempt, we were falling back on a more generic host key algorithm, SSH RSA. So this is one of the corrections, we had to make. So we come back over here to our resource, over here to the algorithms tab, and we can see that ECDSA SHA-2 NISTP 256 is one of the options available here. So we're going to specify it since that's what the server is looking for. Now we come back over to our handshake logs, and we see that we also are specifying In the failed attempt, for the server-client cipher, we're initially specifying AES 256 CBC. In the successful attempt, the client specified AES 128 CTR. So we come back over here to the client. We see in our cipher list AES 128 CTR is one of the available options. So we go ahead and change that. Then when we come back up here and test, our resource test is now successful. We can connect, we can go ahead and move on with what we're trying to do with the workflow. So to summarize this, the SFTP Handshake is a standard protocol. All of the different clients are going to work the same way in terms of the steps they're going to go through as part of this handshake. Once we have a debug log from a successful connection, that's our baseline, we can then go through and basically compare each of the different steps with the failed connectivity attempt to see where there are differences. We come in, we adjust the SFTP resource accordingly, and if we do everything right, we're rewarded with successful connection, and we can move on to whatever the next issue is. I hope this was helpful. I'm going to thank you very much for your time, and we'll talk to you on the next one of these